Hello, my name is Candace Gottlieb Clark. I am the president and founder of Dynamic Team Solutions, and I want to welcome you to today's program, Crisis and Crossroads, the 2020 election. This program series is focused on helping businesses and professionals manage the stress and the turmoil caused as a part of this political divide that we are currently experiencing. People are feeling increasingly stressed, anxious, and isolated. We don't have the same reserves we normally would. We're more divided than ever, and these issues are spilling over into the workplace. Team members that would normally need to communicate fully and openly have lost some trust in each other, are feeling a little more reserved in how they communicate and how they explain or trust one another. And all of these different issues have an impact that is direct and profound in the productivity, in the profitability, and in the world of work each of us inhibits. And each of our programs is focused on things to think about and be aware of and things to do. Today's program is intentionally designated for HR leaders and professionals. We want to help you as HR leaders know how to stay in front of these issues, what to do when these issues do still percolate to the surface and require your direct involvement. One of the main things we want you to think about is that it's going to be essential you stay in front of problems. This is always the role of HR, but now more than ever, especially as many of us are remote, it is important that you reach out to your teams, that you connect with them and let them know you want to know what is happening. You want to know what challenges they're experiencing directly related to this sense of division, this divisiveness we're all experiencing. Joining me are two phenomenal professionals from our dynamic team. I have Therese White and Hillary Bendon. Each of them are conflict resolution professionals, organizational specialists, and both are just amazing at working with both individuals and teams, helping people resolve conflict and create new pathways to working together. And each of them has some really wonderful wisdom to share with us today. And Therese, I'm going to ask you to kick it off.
Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate HR people because guess what? You're doing the heavy lifting. It's your charge to make sure that the organizations stay on task and that some of these things that are happening, the discussions about race and politics, which are typically things that people want to keep out of the workplace, how you manage those and how you help the employees manage those. Well, for example, someone comes into your office, or given the fact that we're in this pandemic, you may have a Zoom meeting with someone. And one of the things that's going to be important for you to make sure that the person can tell, number one, is that they are being listened to. That's extremely important. That's where it all begins. Are you listening to the person? Can they tell that you're listening to them? And so, what does good listening look like? People are expecting and counting on you to be able to make eye contact with them. And of course, that gets a little bit more challenging with Zoom. People want to make sure that you are, in fact, looking into their eyes. And of course, if you have the benefit of being able to be in the room with them, it's a little easier to get to that point. So you want to make sure that people can tell. And good listening means, number one, that the person has your undivided attention. It means that you are not at your keyboard, you're not listening to phone calls, you're not petting your fur child, as I call mine, and you're actually literally paying attention to the person that's in front of you, whether they're seated or via Zoom. So the other thing that's also going to be important is that people feel heard. I have to say, in my 25 plus years, that's one of the most important things that people typically will say to me. I've had this conflict with my employer, or I had this dispute with a coworker, and guess what? Nobody listened to me. No one heard what I felt, what I was thinking, how it impacted me. So, what does what does it look like? How can you let people know that you heard them? And just to kind of emphasize the significance of that is, let me kind of mention, remember years ago, young people used to say, "Do you hear me?" And I don't know how many of you have had enough birthdays that you remember that particular slang. But anyway, that was one of the things that people said. So it's important for us to let people know that you heard them. So how do you do that? One thing that you can definitely do is by doing what I call summary check-ins. So what does that look like? That may simply mean is you may say to the person, "May I interrupt just for a moment? I want to do a check-in. I want to let you know what I've heard so far. Did I miss anything? Did I get everything that you were trying to communicate?" Then when you've said that to the person, you will notice sometimes people they will actually look relieved, because it's like, yeah, somebody is listening. She heard, not only is she listening, because listening and hearing are different, but not only is the person listening to me, but they actually heard me because they summarized what I said.
I think, Therese, that's really important. The importance of truly listening to people. And I think what you want to consider when you do listen to your employees is that sometimes they express their thoughts, but they think their emotions. So if somebody says to you, "I feel like," or "I feel that," those are thoughts that people are having, not emotions. So one way you can really get to have them understand that you're with them, that you're hearing them, that you're truly understanding what they're trying to communicate, is to point that out and say, "Well, I understand that you think whatever it is they say. I'm also interested in understanding what's the feeling behind that. What are you really getting emotionally? What are you feeling? What are you feeling behind that thought?" And as you move forward in understanding what they're saying, you then want to communicate to them their role in the process, their role in the situation, and do it in a gentle way, not in an accusatory way. So it's kind of like you want to make sure they understand that it takes two to tango, that old saying. Well, it does take two to tango in conflict. It takes two people to have a discord or a disagreement. So one thing that you might consider is asking them, how would you have liked the interaction to go differently? And after they share with you how they would have liked it to go differently, you can say, what might you have done differently to make it happen in that way? So it's important not only for them to see both sides, which is what you're really doing, is showing them both sides of the issue, but it's important for you as an HR professional to see both sides. When someone comes to you and they share with you a difficult interaction that they've had with someone else, you want to listen and hear them, and you want to recognize that there are two sides to the story. So in that situation, you may want to reach out to the other person and see how they're thinking and feeling, and service them in that way as well.
I really appreciate these thoughts from both Therese and Hillary, because it is so important that there be steps that can be taken and follow up that can occur. As an HR leader, when you have had the opportunity to support one of the members of your team in addressing an issue, make sure they also know that there's a circle back that you're going to do, that you'll stay involved and you'll stay aware of the issue, because these are not simple issues. They are not, oh, somebody took the last cup of coffee. These are deeper and they're more lasting, and people will feel heard and they'll feel understood when you take the time to check back with them and see if the efforts that you've made to help them resolve things or create peace have started to have traction and make those changes real. And further, it helps you to know, if they haven't, that more work is needed. In terms of just wrapping up for today, there are a lot of ideas we can give on how to communicate. That will be a part of the next session we put out, which is session 4 for employees at all levels, how to communicate with somebody when you have these very distinct feelings and differences of opinion. And also, I want to suggest that if you have a direct need and you would like the support of our team of Hillary, Therese, or anyone else with Dynamic Team Solutions, please reach out to us. You can email us at help@dynamicteamsolutions.org. Thank you from all three of us, Hillary, Therese, and myself, and have a wonderful day.